What if I told you that you can run powerful AI models like Gemma, Llama, Mistral, and Quen directly on your own laptop? No monthly subscriptions, no sending your private data to a cloud server, no waiting for an API key. And the best part is, once it is set up, you can use these models from your terminal, Python code, or your workflow. That is exactly what we are going to do today in this video by using a free tool called Ollama. By the end of this video, you will know how to install Ollama, download your first AI model and run it locally. Switch between different models, call it through API, and even use it inside Python code. So if you are into AI automation, local AI agents, or building tools without depending completely on cloud APIs, this is one of the most important tools you should learn. Let's get started. Before we install anything, let's quickly understand what Ollama actually does. Ollama is a tool that lets you run large language models locally on your machine. Think of it like this. Normally, when you use ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or any hosted AI tool, your prompt goes to a remote server, the model runs over there, and then you get the response back. With Ollama, the model runs on your own computer. That means you can use AI locally for the tasks like writing content, summarizing documents, generating code, building chatbots, testing AI agents, and even connecting it with automation tools. This is especially useful if you care about privacy, want to experiment with open source models, and want to build AI workflows without paying for every single API call. Now keep one thing in mind, because the model runs locally, your system matters. Bigger models need more RAM, more storage, and ideally a good GPU. But for this video, I'll show you models that most people can start testing with. We'll talk about the system configuration as well. So the table that you see is a recommendation of models, the size of the model. This for small models like 1 billion to between 4 billion parameters. If your model is having between these numbers, then minimum requirement is 8 GB RAM, and it's recommended to have 12 GB plus RAM. And the models that are fall under this category are Llama 3.2, 5.3 mini. Then mid-size models, like if it is having 7 billion parameters to 8 billion parameters, then the recommendation is 16 GB plus RAM, and these are the example models. So it depends on the configuration, what model you are trying to use, and accordingly you should have the configuration. For the sake of this demo, we will run the small models so that everybody can try and run this model and follow along. Let's install Ollama. First, open your browser and go to Ollama website, ollama.com, and then you'll see a download option here at the top. Click on that and click download for Windows. The moment you click on download for Windows, you will see an installer getting downloaded. Depends on your speed. It is 1.3 gig at this point in time, so it will take some time to download. I'll fast forward this. Once the file is downloaded, simply open it and complete the installation. It is normal like another Windows installation. I'll fast forward it. After installation, Ollama usually runs in the background. On Windows, you may see it in your system tray over here. On Mac, it may run as a background app. On Linux, you can run it through the terminal. Now let's verify that Ollama is installed correctly. Open your terminal or command prompt and type Ollama. If you see a list of commands like this, is the first checkpoint. Let's try chat with model option. To select few models, we need sign in, but few models we can directly select. So let's try with Gemma for 31 billion parameter, but I think sign in is required over there. We'll start with, let's say, Quen 3.6. If we click here, it will ask us to download it on your local machine. I don't want to proceed here. Let me go back. So you can press escape to go back, and let me maximize this and come to the home screen of the CLI interface. And let's say we'll exit. We'll click on escape again to exit. Now we can run the model with Ollama, another command line interface like Ollama, run, and the model name. So for that, we need to install some model. Let's see, Ollama run Llama 3.2. So if we type this, if the model is not present on your machine, it will first download that model and then it will run the model. So let's get it downloaded first. So depending on your internet speed and the model size, this may take some time. However, once the model is downloaded, Ollama will open a chat-like prompt right inside the terminal. Now the model is ready to run. It's installed and configured on the system. Let me send a simple hi. So we have got getting the response, and this is running locally. So you can see the speed, how within milliseconds it has responded back. So let me ask another question. Explain agentic process automation in simple terms. And let's wait. So how quickly it is responding, right? See guys, in simple terms, it refers to the use of technology and all that blah blah blah. It is responding, and it is all running on my local machine. It's not querying the data from the remote server or the server where this model is hosted. It's hosted locally, and hence the speed of the execution and getting the response back is fast. This is the cool part. The prompt is not going to any third-party API. The model is running on my system. Now let me ask another question. Give me 5 use cases where local AI models can help RPA developers. And it's giving me the 5 use case example based on the model training. So this is where Ollama becomes very interesting for people in automation. You can use it to generate workflow ideas, summarize logs, classify emails, extract information, create test data, or even internal copilot related stuff. Now let's say if you're done with your prompting and your testing, you want to move out. Let's say once it is generated the response and you want to move out of this. So to exit the chat, you can type \bye and it logs it, and it terminates the session, and we are back to terminal. You can type CLS to clear the terminal. Once you start downloading models, you will want to see what already is available on your machine. For that, we can use Ollama list. It will list all the available models that are installed on your local machine. Currently, we have installed just one model. You will see the model name, size, and when it was modified. Now, let's say I want to try another model, for example, Mistral. So for that, what I can do is same command, Ollama run Mistral with any model. Like if you want to run Gemma model, same thing. And if the model is not locally installed, it will first download it and set it up. So it is pulling the information, it is downloading. This model was pretty huge, like you can see 4.4 gigs, and hence it took some time to download. You can install multiple models and switch between them easily. For example, what we did, right? We run Llama 3.2 and then Mistral. And if you want to try with Gemma as well, Gemma 3, you can install that. And we can try the same thing over here just to test this out. Hello, and it will respond back. And if you want to go back, /bye, and it will take you to the terminal. Now we'll do Llama list, and it will show us 2 models that are installed locally. One is 4.4 gigs and another one is 2 gig basically. So this is very useful because different models are good at different things. Some are better for coding, some are better for reasoning, some are smaller and faster, some are larger, more accurate, but need better hardware. So my advice here is simple. Don't start with largest model. Start with smaller model, test it, understand your system performance, and then move towards the bigger model if needed. And that's bring us to the next section, choosing the right model. Before that, let me show you one thing. The moment when we install Ollama, we also got a Ollama app also. So if you type here Ollama, you'll see an Ollama app, desktop app. You click here and you'll see these options to initiate a new chat, and you can copy these commands in the command line interface. You can pick, copy and paste it over here to launch the coding tools, codecs, cloud code, and all that. Click on new chat and select a model here to test the interactions, what we just did with the command line. Let's move on to choosing the right model, because this is where beginners often get confused. So when you visit Ollama library, Ollama model library, you'll see many models. You'll see names like Llama, Mistral, Gemma, Quen, Phi, DeepSeek, Code Llama, and many others. Which one should you use? Here is a simple way to think about it. If you're just starting, choose a smaller general purpose model. If you want coding help, use a coding focused model. If you want reasoning in your workflows or in your automation or in your solution, choose a model known for reasoning. If your laptop has limited RAM, avoid very large models. For most beginners, I would recommend testing with a smaller model first. The goal is to get a working local AI setup and understand how it fits onto your workflow. Once you get comfortable, you can experiment with different models and compare the output quality. Now let's move to the part that is most useful for developers and automation professionals. Ollama is not just a terminal chatbot. It also runs a local API, which means you can call your local models from Python, JavaScript, Postman, or other automation tools or your own applications. by default, Ollama runs on this port. If you type localhost colon 11434 and hit enter, you can see here Ollama is running. In most cases, Ollama app is running in the background, the API is already available. But if you manually want to, for some cases, if it is not running for you and if you manually want to start it, then simply you can type Ollama serve and it is listening already at this port. Now this means we can send an HTTP request to it. Let's test a simple API call, a curl request. Let me use this curl request. So what this request states, we are consuming localhost, we are consuming Ollama on this port, and we are calling the generate endpoint. We are passing the model Mistral, and remember, whatever model you have installed, only that model you should be able to pass here, otherwise it will not work. So, and the prompt is explain local AI model in simple word. I'll hit enter and the curl request will begin its execution and we are able to get some responses. This is powerful because now local model is no longer limited to chat terminal. You can connect it with your own apps. You can connect it with your automation workflows, with internal tools, or you can build your own local AI assistant with the help of this local API calling. Now we will see how we can call Ollama from Python. So I believe everyone should have VS Code installed. If not, you can simply get it installed and you should be having Python installed already in your system. Now let's use Python. Let me open VS Code. Once you open VS Code, for you it will show like this and you can set up a folder. Let's create, I have already created one folder. I'll just open that folder and go to my drive, code Ollama and Ollama 101. I'll select this folder and boom, here we go. I'll maximize this. So this is the interface of VS Code. Let me just maximize a bit so that it's clear for you. So this is the terminal window where we'll be executing our commands, and the moment you get started, right, you should have Python already installed and then you can follow these commands. So Python mvenv.venv, we are creating a virtual environment, and I'll tell you the reason why we are creating, because virtual environment is kind of for your individual project. It's an environment where you install all the libraries so that it doesn't impact other programs or other projects that you're working on. So the virtual environment for this particular project will be created inside this and all the dependencies will be available here. So what we are doing is we are creating a virtual environment with this name venv. You can give it any name. So the command to create a virtual environment is simple here. Python -m venv and the name of the environment. The environment is created and then we have to activate the environment and then install Ollama library, pip install Ollama. So these three steps you have to follow. So once you do that, those three steps, you will be within the virtual environment. For example, I'll show you. So if I say deactivate, I'm out of my virtual environment and now I'm just in my folder. Okay. So now I need to go to my virtual environment. I want to make that virtual environment active. So what I can do is I can simply copy this command and type it here. So we are in PowerShell, so it will not work. So let me move to another command. So it will be like venv and activate.ps1. So this will work because we are in the PowerShell. This .bat would work for command line CMD. So we have selected PowerShell, that's why activate.ps1, and I'll also update it over here. Okay. Now we are inside our virtual environment. The moment we are inside the virtual environment, what we have to do, pip install Ollama. So it will install the Ollama library, pip install Ollama. And you can see here the library is already installed. If you go inside this, the Ollama and the related libraries, Pydantic and all that stuff is installed. So we are good with the setup. Now what we have to do, we have to create a demo file or some file. Let's say go to the root folder and create a file. So we will call it as Ollama _demo.py. So this is the python.py file I have created. Now we will write some code here. So import Ollama, we are importing the library reference, then response. Just to fast track things, I have already written that. I'll copy this. So what we are doing here, importing the library, then generate, using the generate method, we are passing the model name and we are asking a prompt, right? Give me 2 practical AI automation use case for which with the help of local LLMs. So here, remember, whatever model you are passing, you should pass the model that is installed already. If you're not sure, you can go to your command prompt and say Ollama list. So it will list all the models that are available on your local. So currently we have Mistral and Llama 3.2. That's why we are using Llama 3.2 here. And let's go and run this file. Remember to save this file. If this is showing like this icon, it is not saved. Click Control Save and Control S and Python Ollama dot demo. So it will talk to the local LLM model which is installed on the system, Llama 3.2, and it will pass this prompt and generate the response. That's how we have got the response. So here are the two practical use cases. Use case 1 is automating customer support, and it is given some description also, example also. And use case 2, automating content generation, and this is the example. It has executed fine. So we can try with some other model, and let's say I showed you earlier that we have just two models. Let me show it here. If I try with some other model which is not installed on my local, and just for you to make sure that we are not connecting to any cloud model, we are running with our local model. So I'll type Gemma. So Gemma was not the model, right, which we have installed here so far. So if we run this now, we will get the error because the model reference is not there. All right, let me show it to you one more example. Let's create another file, Ollama underscore test maybe .py. And remember, don't name your file as ollama.py because Ollama is a library reference file, so there might be ambiguity and you might get some errors. So just make sure. And here I have another example. I'll just pull that information from here and we will clear this out. So here what we are doing, we are importing a chat reference from Ollama library, and we're passing an object. We're giving a role, user role, and content is like why the sky is blue, and response. And here in the response, like here in the model, we are passing the Mistral model along with the message, right? And we are expecting the response. So let's run this again. This is a local model, Mistral, Python Ollama test.py. Okay, I have not saved. Let me save this and run it again. So Python is now talking to a local AI model running through Ollama. You have seen that clearly. This is where things become very practical. For example, you can build a script that takes customer email and classifies them. You can summarize long documents. You can generate test cases or documentation related to your automation use cases, all on your local machine. Because the model is local, you can experiment without worrying about the API cost. You can run it as many times you want. So of course, local models may not always be strong as or best as the cloud models, but for many internal automation tasks, they are more than enough. And for learning, prototyping, and privacy sensitive work, Ollama is extremely useful. All right, so we got the response. Cool. Now we will try some simple automation. Let me show you a very simple automation style example now again. So imagine that you have a support ticket like this. The user is unable to log in after resetting the password. They tried twice and now the account is locked. Now, how we can solve this particular problem or a classification of these kind of tickets using the local model? So what we can do is we can build a small Python code. Let me try to just create a new file here, support ticket classification, or I'll say simply support ticket.py. So this is how you define the multi-line text in Python. So this is your the issue, the problem statement of the user. What we had here, the user is unable to log in, and that's what we have mentioned here. Then I am passing a prompt to the model, and this is for formatting so that I can have the variabilized options. I can take it variabilized as well. So in this ticket, I'm passing this value from ticket variable. And here what I'm saying, classify the support ticket into one of these categories: login issue, payment issue, access issue, bug report, or a general query. Return only the category and a short reason. This is what I'm specifying clearly in my prompt. This is my complete prompt, and then I am passing that prompt to the model using the model Mistral model, and then so it should classify the ticket into one of this category, and it has come up with this login issue. It has categorized it. So let's try to change something. The user is now with VPN. let's say I'm updating the ticket description and I'm running it back, and it has categorized it into a VPN issue, and there was no such category, right? So we can tweak our prompt a bit better, like please return only the category and short reason which is mentioned in the prompt, and let's try to run again. So it has identified and stick to the categories only, so login issue, which is incorrect in this case. But what we can do is, user is facing problem with a VPN and unable to access any of the system on his device, let's say, and we can mention here in the prompt, return only the category and a short reason which is mentioned, and if you find something outside, mark it as miscellaneous, MISC, just go it here, and let's run it again. It is again classifying as a login issue. Let's try with Llama 3.2 model. So you have to just try and play around with the model which are good at the work. So it is trying to say access request when it is a VPN unable, because of this unable to access any of the system on his device. So it has categorized it as access request. Let's say the user is facing a problem and is unable to work, and let's see now. So you can play around like this once it is set up, and now it has given, right, user needs assistance with connecting to Wi-Fi, access request related issue. So this is a very small example, but think about a bigger picture. You can use the same idea in real automation project, like read an email, classify the request, extract key details, trigger the right kind of workflow, generate and draft the response, and send it for approval, like human in the loop. This is where local AI and automation starts coming together. And this is why tools like Ollama are important for anyone moving from traditional RPA to AI powered automation or AI driven automation. Now let's look at one more interesting feature. You can customize how a model behaves using something called a model file. A model file lets you define a base model and add instructions. So let's create a model file, name it like this, model file, no extension. Please be mindful of the naming here. So it should be like this, model file, and without any extension. So it's not .md, .py or .txt, nothing like that. It's just a model file. And now here inside it, we can write something like, for example, from Mistral, and system is this. You are an AI automation assistant. You help RPA developers understand AI, agents, APIs, and automation workflow. Explain everything in simple and practical language, and save. So this is my model file. Now, what we can do here is we can type Ollama create automation assistant and use this file called model file. Enter. We will run this. Ollama run automation assistant that we just created, and it is error pulling up the file. The file does not exist. As we are inside the virtual environment and the file exists outside, let me see, deactivating it and then try to run the same thing. No, it's not able to pull. Let's try one more time in command prompt. We'll go here, we'll try Ollama run automation -assistant, and it's working over here. So let me click a message. Let me type a message. Hi, hello, let's break down these terms into simple concepts. And it is working over here. Somehow there was some problem in the command line when we were trying to access it in Python, but in the command prompt, it is working. It is responding, see. So let me just pause this and let me ask it what is the difference RPA and APA, let's say. Now this is a model that we have tweaked it, because we have given it a system instruction, right? So it is always referring to the model file. Model file act as a system instruction in this case. So let's ask this question, and it is an helpful AI automation assistant, and it will be responding with respect to that system instruction or a personality of this particular chatbot. So this is useful when we want to create a specialized local assistant, for example a coding assistant or a analyst or a documentation assistant, support ticket assistant, or automation consultant kind of an assistant. So once the custom model is created, you can call it from Python also by using the custom model name, which we tried. There were some errors, but here we are able to run it properly. So it's responding what is RPA and what is APA, but APA it is messed up, like artificial intelligence process automation, AIPA. That depends on how the model training has been done. When should you use Ollama? Use Ollama when you want to experiment with local AI models. Use it when you want more privacy. Use it when you want to test your AI workflows without paying for those API calls. Use it when you want to build some internal AI tools, when you want to understand how open source models work, but also understand the limitations. Your computer hardware matters. Smaller models are faster, but maybe less capable. Larger models can give better output, but need more RAM, more GPU power. So don't think of Ollama as full replacement for every cloud AI tool. Think of it as a very powerful local AI engine that you can use for learning, prototyping, and building automation workflows. So that was a practical introduction to Ollama. We installed it, ran a local AI model, switched between models, used the local API, called it from Python, and created a custom automation. Also, we created an assistant using Modelfile. If you're an RPA developer, automation engineer, or someone exploring agentic automation or agentic process automation, this tool you should definitely give it a try, because the future of automation is not just bots clicking buttons, screen scraping. It is like bot that can reason, understand context, call tools, and work with different AI models. And Ollama gives you a simple way to start experimenting with that locally. If you found this useful, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below if you want me to create more such videos or a follow-up video where we can connect Ollama with an actual automation workflow. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.